guys, does capitalism have you down?
Does the constant pressure to be productive get to you?
Are you tired of being a cog in the machine?
Productivity porn has created a business around making you think that constantly being productive will lead to a fulfilling life. However, this mindset has created unhappy, anxious, and burnt out people.
On our podcast, we aim to entertain by providing useless information just for the joy of it and giving you time in the day to stop the gears of capitalism.
And if you're thinking, what's the point of this podcast? Then we invite you to be a part of the revolution against toxic productivity by embracing the useless things.
Welcome to episode 34 of the Very Unimportant People podcast.
Woo! Do less!
I'm your host, Courtney, and this week I witnessed two major incidents in one day. 2 for 1, baby.
I'm your host, Lidia, and this week I have 2 different crushes on 2 different guys.
Ooh! Oh my god, it's so
a little bit of a double thing here.
Oh,
I know.
I love it.
I know. Well, if they ever do decide to listen and tune into the podcast, then I'll leave it up to... Yeah, they'll be like, is she talking about me?
If you're a man in Lydia's life, check yourself. It might be you.
Why did you ask me to hang out alone? See what happens. Tell me about the incidents. I can't go too deeply into this, guys.
Yeah. I don't want to ask you too many questions. I don't want to expose you, but we're very excited for Lidia. She's really living it up. She's living her truest hot girl summer.
Pandemic's over. Yeah, fucking hot girl summer. Let's go.
Yeah, my 2 incidents. Not nearly as exciting, but
Come on.
On Saturday, one of Janaid's friends from high school came to visit us. So we went for a little road trip up the coast, and everything was going fine until we were like driving back, and there was somebody on the side of the road that had pulled over their car, and they were like waving their arms at us. Oh. So we pulled over and we were like, "You okay? What's going on?" And she was like, "Oh, I'm just letting you know there is a motorcycle accident right like just ahead around this corner. Slow down as you drive by."
Okay.
It was not dramatic. So, yeah, we slowed down and, like, proceeded with caution. And the oncoming traffic had been, like, stopped by cars kind of thing. We could only get through one way. And there was literally a lady lying on the side of the road screaming. And people, like, holding her legs and, like, yelling, like, try to get her comfortable. Like, go get this from the truck. Like, all this really scary shit. So, yeah, we just drove by. I was like, I hope somebody called 911. I can't really help in this situation. There's already like 5 people there helping her.
Holy shit.
So we just kept driving.
So messed up.
It was very scary.
Well, yeah, you don't want to crowd her at that point.
No. And like, I have no medical training, no first aid. Yeah. Like, I would not be helpful in that situation. I would just be clogging up the road. So, yeah. We just continued on our way. So that was the first major incident that we...
Oh, shit. I thought the first one was a lady waving.
No. Okay, so this was the first one. And then after that, we decided to go downtown Victoria so that she could see the city. And we were walking down by, like, the harbor, just in our own world, minding our own business, not even really being aware of our surroundings. And there's, like, an inner harbor part that's, like, lower down by the water. And then you can, like, go up a level and walk along the street around. Mm-hmm. So we were just kind of, like, going up to the upper level, and I noticed I was like looking around and everybody was just staring in the same direction. Everyone had stopped and was like looking at something. And I was like, this is weird. I was like, are we waiting for like a boat to come in? Like, what's everyone looking at? And all of a sudden I noticed like we had been hearing sirens, just not thinking anything of it. All of a sudden I noticed there's literally 7 police cars on the side of the road. And like, I want to say like 8 to 14 cops running down into the harbor. One of them has a freaking assault rifle running into the harbor. And I was like, what is happening? Oh my And then they like went behind these bushes and it looked like they were like literally looking for something in the bushes. I have no idea what it was. And we were just like standing there staring. And then they like found a guy and arrested him and put him into the back of a police car, and that's all I know. But there was it was so alarming to see a literal cop running in with an assault rifle to downtown Victoria. I was like,
yeah,
whatever the situation was, it did not warrant that reaction. Like, I was down there 2 seconds ago and I was okay.
Yeah.
We can calm down. You already have a gun. Like,
oh my god, that's so scary. Yeah. That's so messed up. Oh my god, I wonder what the crime was, bro.
I know.
Like, why did you
I know.
need to bring an assault rifle with you?
I
like,
know.
What?
And I've been like checking, Vancouver Island news every day just to see if anything pops up, because I'm still like, what the fuck was that? And I check like the Twitter to see if there's any like warnings. Sometimes they tweet warnings being like, there's an active situation, like here. Nothing. Nada. There is no information on this. I don't know if they're trying to cover up the fact that police officer maybe
it was a little bit
very much overreacted to that situation.
Okay. I think you can look up police records online. I'm pretty sure they're public. I'm not 100% on that, but I'm pretty sure that's how people found out, like, Justin Bieber went to jail, and it's how they found his mugshot and stuff like that, because those records are public. So maybe if you really want to deep dive, you can kind of like look into police records. I don't know where to find them, but that's freaking crazy. Yeah. Well, it definitely wasn't theft, because apparently nobody... Oh, wait, maybe it was theft. Because a Canadian Tire, do you remember that Canadian Tire story you told us
but
about?
Like an assault rifle and like 14 cops? I don't think it was theft.
I don't think so. True.
And we
were
like,
he escaped from prison or something like that?
My theory, and now this is just a theory, is that he had a weapon of some kind and somebody saw him with the weapon because they were looking in the bushes for something.
I see. So
and obviously, like, they're very small bushes and not big enough bushes for a person to hide in. So it makes me believe that he maybe dropped something and ran, and they were like looking for the thing. So I don't know if it was like maybe.
Oh my god! I'm
like
so happy you're safe.
Me too.
It could have been like a bomb or something like that.
I know. That's what I was thinking. I was like, am I missing something here? Should I be running that way?
Yeah, literally. They were all just like running, and none of the police officers were like, "Please back up, pedestrians." Everyone was like,
everyone was like, people were leaning over like the fucking wall. Right above them, being like, everyone was.
Did they say anything? Was any of the public being like, "Oh, did you see what happened?" People.
No, I walked by one person who was like, "Really? They're gonna bring out like an assault rifle right in front of the government buildings?" And I was like, "Yeah, she's got a point. We're literally right in front of government. Like, calm down."
Oh my god, that's kind of a lot. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh god, bro, that's so fucking scary. Wow. Holy shit. Oh my god.
It was an interesting day. It was kind of weird.
I'm glad
we've
you're
never
okay.
really had that situation. That poor friend that was visiting. We were like, it's not
thinks,
normally like this.
She thinks you live in like a lawless island.
Yeah. It's like the Florida of Canada or something. Yeah. But like, no, I swear, we're like, nothing ever happens here.
No, really, it's super quaint. I think it's just because maybe everything's opening up. Maybe people are going a little bit crazy.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. And then when I was on the like Twitter, there was a tweet that was like, "We urge you to use patience if you're calling the non-emergency line because there's currently a 50-hour wait to reach the police on the non-emergency line." So I don't know what's happening on the island, but people are losing their shit a little. I don't know.
Wow, holy shit. That is some bullshit, dude. Ugh, man, that's so annoying. Honestly, the non-emergency line, I tried calling the 411, the non-emergency line last week. I don't remember if I told you guys about this, but like they were useless.
It's not the 411, like, when you call the police, but you don't like the police.
Oh, yeah.
But you don't have an emergency. That was the line. It wasn't like information. It was like if you need to reach a police officer, but not in immediate danger.
Okay, got you. Oh,
to
damn.
like report. I don't know.
Yeah, to report something. You're like, oh, someone's car needs to be towed. It's been sitting here for an hour too long. Damn, that's so scary. Mm-hmm. Dude, your island is like going crazy.
Yeah,
You might need to move.
No, it's okay. I'm good.
Damn it.
I still prefer it over Ontario. I'm sorry.
Fuck.
It was interesting.
Yeah, I kind of do too. I'm not gonna lie.
Excitement. I was like, whoa.
Mm-hmm. I live for the drama. I mean,
same. We were like, let's get closer. Literally, like walking around, getting closer to the cop cars to try to like overhear things.
That reminds me of those memes of those like concerned dads, like just looking at one dad doing all the work, and they're just standing there like, "Yep, hammer. Yep. So what you using there?" And he's like, "Oh, I got a piece of wood." He's like, "Ah, that's a nice piece of wood." It reminds me of that kind of situation. Everyone's just like,
yeah, we were just like, this seems okay. This seems normal.
Yes, we will just stand here and watch. I wonder what that like criminal thought. They were like, oh, these people watching. Were they like screaming? Did you get to see them?
No, he wasn't screaming. It was a him.
Mm-hmm.
It was a white man.
A white man.
You know, not really
As they do
surprised
be.
about that, you know.
I know, right?
No, he didn't really say anything when they caught him. He just walked up the stairs and was like sitting in the back of the truck. The police started like interviewing 2 people. I don't know if maybe they were the ones that like called in the call, or I don't know. But
he was compliant?
yeah, it seemed like it. I mean, there were
What the
14
hell?
fucking cops and one of them had an assault rifle, so it would be pretty ballsy not to be compliant in that situation.
You make a good point.
Yeah.
You make a good point.
Yeah, we can't really trust cops these days, so yeah, you shut the fuck up.
Oh,
That's
God.
what happens.
Yikes.
Yeah.
That's scary stuff.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad she got to see some drama.
Yeah.
That's kind of nice, you know. A little excitement from the day-to-day, I guess. Definitely probably wasn't seeing that in... Was she from Ontario?
Yeah.
I didn't get to see a lot of crime in
She's from
Ontario. Yeah. I mean, we're pretty chill here, I'm not going to lie. Kind of. Except for downtown. Hey, what's up, you guys? Now is the time of the podcast where we talk about the poll from last week.
The poll.
Thank you so much for participating in the poll. As you may or may not remember, last week we talked about Barney and vampires. So the first question that we had on our Instagram at very.unimportant.people, where you can participate every Tuesday/Wednesday in the poll, was, do you sing songs about killing Barney as a kid? 80% of you said yes. This is a collective experience.
It was.
We have all had hatred for Barney for one reason or another. I love it.
Same. I don't understand it, but I love it. All right. And then the second question that we had was, do you agree that Barney the purple dinosaur is Satan himself? This one was 50-50, guys. Which I am obsessed with.
That's so funny. You guys are the best.
Thanks. I mean, sure, whatever. He can be Satan, I guess.
The next question is, are you a vampire?
Oh my God.
43% of you said yes.
43%? Oh my God. Okay, I'm going to check.
Amazing.
I'm going to do a quick looky look as to who said yes, and you will be getting a message from us later. We want a real vampire.
We want to know more.
And then
so funny.
The last question that we had was, if you were a vampire, would you go to high school and then get a job? And 67% of you said yes, that's life.
What is wrong with you guys?
What the hell, guys? If you had the option not to do this shit, why would you do it? Why would you do it?
What the fuck? Why are you going to go back to high school as a vampire? You really want to do high school over and over?
Okay, here we go.
Over?
But your question was, would you go to high school? Not would you go back to high school? So maybe they're thinking like they would do it once, you know? Because I would do it once.
Like, it's fine.
To get the
I would do high
education
school as a vampire. Could be fun.
Yeah. Just once. That's it.
For the education. And then get a job, though.
That's
So it
it.
was a two-parter.
You know what must be the hardest part about being a vampire? Is like keeping up with all the social trends. Because personally, right now, I would be terrified to go to high school with Gen Zs. Yeah, like, I don't know their thing. Like, I don't get how they talk and how they dress. And like, I would stick out like a sore thumb. Like, I just don't get the slang.
You would be that one
But
person
if you're a
who's
vampire,
still talking like a medieval
you'd have to
person.
keep up with all that.
That would be hard.
Oh my God.
That would be so hard. That's something that they didn't cover in Twilight. How to keep up with the lingo and the trends.
Yeah.
They just wore whatever and they just used regular words, you know? No one was like, hey, yo, the floor is lava. You know?
You would have to understand all those references. That would be tough.
That's tough. You would have to catch up on a lot
Vampires.
of like TV and TikTok and like
My God.
You would end up spending most of your time like the rest of us do.
Yeah, just catching up.
Yeah. Bruh.
That sucks. I'm sorry, guys.
That's rough.
Sorry, vampires. I'm sorry to those, what was it, 43%, 47%?
I believe 43% of you guys are vampires, so we
I'm sorry.
apologize to you. Hope it gets better. Thank you so much for participating, guys, and please enjoy the rest of the show. Bye!
Bye!
Anyways,
my opinion this week I don't know if I want to say what the opinion is yet. I'm just going to introduce the topic. We're going to talk about what the opinion is after I talk about it a little bit, okay? But I want to talk about the conspiracy theory about how birds aren't real. I don't know if anyone has seen this on the internet, but
the birds, they work for the bourgeoisie.
Yes, that is all over the TikTok.
Yeah, bitch.
Yeah, I'm sure you've heard of it. But I was just kind of curious as to like what the theory was, how it started, just why. So I decided to look it up, and if anyone ever has some time, please look this up. Whoever created this conspiracy theory is the most creative and dedicated person I have ever encountered. He wrote the conspiracy theory as if it's like a book on his website.
That's interesting.
Or their website. I don't know if it's him. Their website. Maybe it is him. I can't remember. And so there's like chapter 1, chapter 2. And just the creativity throughout this entire story just blew me away. Absolutely blew me away. I'm going to preface this with that this conspiracy theory is complete bullshit. It was created as bullshit. It is not a serious conspiracy theory, but I think some of the internet thinks it is. But the person that created it very clearly created it to be a joke. Okay?
It's satire.
It's satire.
It's a joke about conspiracies, if you will, and like how far people can take it.
Yes. Some people are saying that it's to make fun of the flat earth conspiracy.
I love it.
But I just want to inform all the listeners that if you see it online and you see people talking about it, it's not actually a real conspiracy theory. Okay. But anyways,
the joke.
I wanted to walk you through the story as he tells it. Well, the Spark Notes of the story, because he wrote it as a book and we don't have time to be here for 3 hours. So,
ain't nobody
Spark
got
Notes.
time for that.
So the story begins in 1947 when the CIA was founded.
Wow.
And it was founded to surveil Americans to identify suspicious communist activities.
Oh, right. Mm-hmm. The war.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, the communists. Yeah.
Everyone was very much afraid of communism.
Yeah. We would not fare well in those times. Our podcast would. Anyways. So for the first 5 years of the CIA's operation, they were very unsuccessful in actually identifying and convicting or just even finding communists living in America. So in 1953, a man named Alan Dulles was made the first civilian director of the CIA and had plans to ramp up the security. He started to instruct staff to plant cameras all over the place. In like secret places where people wouldn't be able to see them. So like in bushes and garbage cans and all these places that people couldn't see them, so that he could spy on Americans to find the communists.
Them commies. God damn.
And then on April 15th in 1956, he met with President Dwight D. Eisenhower. And he told the president that he had a plan to put the cameras in the sky. Because a camera in the sky can do the job of 1,000 cameras on the ground. Because a camera in the sky can follow people. Whereas a camera on the ground, you hear a snippet of the conversation and then they walk away and you need another camera to catch up the rest of the conversation. So put them in the sky so they can follow people. You follow? You follow the logic?
I follow the logic. It's just like for 1950s to put a drone in the sky, like we're just getting drones now. I don't know. He's very much ahead of his time. I'll give him that.
And so Eisenhower approved of this idea. He loved it. He wanted to find them communists. And he asked Dulles, I think his name is Dulles to return when he figured out how to do it.
Yeah, I was going to say.
So Dulles immediately flew to meet with his inner circle to try to figure it out. And this is where it is believed that the initial plan to kill all birds and replace them with robot birds was created. Wow. Now, this is because Dulles hated birds with a passion. Because they would poop all over the cars in the CIA parking lots. And he was cited calling them flying slugs and scum of the skies.
Oh my god. The scum of the skies. That's funny. Oh, that's a little dramatic.
So yeah, he hated pigeons. And then I have a quote here from the story that was just so beautifully written that I had to include it for you guys. So the author says, "But the pigeons in DC at the time were absolutely ruthless. They were eating very well as American morale was high. People were feeding them much more in public parks and on the street. This in turn created huge amounts of pigeon feces that would inevitably find its way onto the windshield of many men and women, all of whom grew not only to hate pigeons, but all birds." So he's basically saying that the high morale in America fatten up the birds too much, and then the birds poop too much, and now Americans hate birds because of high morale.
But they were feeding the birds.
Yeah.
That's so stupid how it's like you'll feed a bird and then you'll be like, God, it's shitting everywhere. It's like you fed it.
Yeah, and it's like literally an animal. Like as if your
and
parking
pigeons...
lot, like you made that parking lot there. Like before it was like a forest.
Yeah,
you know?
Exactly. Pigeons,
but your car's somewhere else. It's just a bird.
I feel so bad for pigeons. They're like the dogs
so
of the bird species, you know? They'll always come back home. Like the pigeons, they're very smart. They'll always come back home. They'll fly. They like, maybe they're not the dogs because, you know. But the point is, they get a lot of hate.
They do get a lot of hate, and I don't know why.
I know. It's like they were trained by humans to do a job for humans. And now it's like they don't have a job anymore, so they just hang around humans. And we're like, ah, God, the scum of the sky. It's like,
I know pigeons.
That was us.
They were like friend.
Yeah, they were literally messengers, and like they did shit for us and stuff like that. Red. Isn't that so sad?
Yeah, that is sad.
So much hate to pigeons. It's like if we just abandoned dogs. We were like, actually we don't need dogs anymore. And then it's like there were stray dogs everywhere, and people were like, God, the strays. You're the vermin of the city. That's how I feel about pigeons.
Yeah, I mean that's yeah. That's sad.
Opposite
It's nice
of
and
duels.
depressing. But yeah, Jules did not feel that way. He hated the pigeons. So they decided that they would kill 2 birds with 1 stone.
Lol.
Nice little joke there. And they would kill all the birds in the sky and replace them with robots in order to surveil the Americans. So Alan Dulles was then tasked with the relocation of $65 billion that came from the Public Health Fund for this forcible eviction of pigeons.
From the earth.
Yeah, and with this from America, not from the earth, from America.
Oh, right.
So with this $65 billion, he met with a man from Boeing, and he ordered 120 B-52 bombers. They then moved these bombers into Area 51 to move it away from Washington so that nobody would like suspect what was happening. Okay. And they also brought in 23 engineers from Boeing to work on the planes. Now, only 22 engineers made it to Area 51.
Okay.
One engineer did not make it because he was left in a town along the way because, quote, he had to pee too many times and he was ruining the vibe of the road trip.
No way.
So they left him in that town. And then apparently he was the only engineer that survived, which is how we know that there was engineers that went to Area 51.
Because he had to pee, because the vibes were off. Gotcha. Yeah. Thank God the vibes were off. Oh my God.
Right?
We never
saved his life
about this. Yeah.
Bad vibes aren't always bad.
Yeah, exactly. Sometimes
they
are good. Even bad vibes are good vibes as long as you're vibing.
And so basically the engineers, they put water tanks on the bombers is the job that they were tasked to do. And once they were done, they were told that they could go home, but then they were intercepted about 30 minutes down the road while they were leaving. And they were loaded onto a bus and then sent to the front lines of Vietnam, where they survived for about 3 weeks and then they all died. Or they were, I think they were taken prisoner.
They might have been. That's
and then never heard from.
This isn't real.
This isn't real. This isn't real. I was about to remind you of that when you were like, oh, this. It doesn't say it's not real on the website, but I gotta believe this
really
isn't real.
There, right? Then it was the knob thing, and then I was like, hold on a second. Hold on a hot second here. I believed you with the vibes in the 1940s, but
no. They did not leave an engineer because of the vibes.
I love that. That's so funny.
These men don't exist. They're fine. They're not in Vietnam. Don't worry.
Okay, good. I'm glad.
So the tanks, they put them on the planes, and then they filled them with a specially formulated bird poison, which would give the birds a virus that could be passed on to other birds. And on June 2nd, I forgot to write down the year, but on June 2nd, Operation Water the Country was born.
Whoa.
Whoa.
It sounds like an episode of Batman.
Water the Country. Within the next 6 years, 15% of the bird population was wiped out by these bird bomber planes.
Oh, interesting. 15%. Okay, I guess that's enough to have, like, surveillance cameras, right? 15% of birds.
I guess
Did they replace all the birds or only 15% of birds? They failed at their mission?
There's more. Don't worry.
Oh, okay.
The story doesn't end here.
Okay.
Don't worry. There's a lot more that happens. So yeah. They killed 15% of the bird population, and they started to release the bird prototypes by the hundreds of millions. They were referred to as bird robots. And
very good. They'll never know a thing.
The bomber pilots were unaware of the job that they were doing. They were just told, go into the air, release to water. That's your job, and that's all they knew about it. So they didn't know that they were killing all the birds. Oh, and then I wrote down another lovely quote for you guys. And it was a message to the bombers, to the flyers of these planes. It says, if any of the original bomber pilots of Operation Water the Country are reading this, hear me closely. We do not blame you for the sins of your superiors. While you did kill billions of helpless birds, you did not know what you were doing. You do not have to remain in hiding. Join the movement, and together we can fight the government.
Oh my god, I love it.
Right?
We do not blame you for the sins. You were just doing what you were told. You're a hero.
Right?
This shit goes deep.
I know. That's what I'm saying. Like, this person...
That's so amazing. He really
I have so much respect for
angle.
this person. Yeah.
He's like, how does the government feel about the people? How does the people feel about the bombers? Do they want to work with them? That's amazing. He should be a playwright, honestly. This sounds like a really good play. Shakespeare of our time, if you will.
Literally.
Eminem of our time.
So yeah. And then... President Kennedy, when President Kennedy was alive, fast forward to President Kennedy time, operation's still going on. Kennedy is now in office. Kennedy does not know about what's happening. None of the presidents know what's happening since Eisenhower. It's been under the radar, not telling people. So President Kennedy was determined to catch one of his employees in the act of stealing his ham sandwich. So he tapped his employee's phone.
Wait. Can you reverse for a second? President
Kennedy
wanted to catch his employee in the act of stealing president's ham sandwich?
Yeah. Yeah, you heard me right.
Oh, I thought I misunderstood that.
No. That's it. That's all. Okay. That's all they gave me.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
We're on the same page then. Continue.
President Kennedy loved his ham sandwiches. What can you do?
Oh my god, what the fuck? That's like American.
So he tapped the phone of his employee to catch him, of course, admitting to eating the ham sandwich. And while he did this, the employee said something about the project, and he figured out about it. And he immediately demanded that the program be shut down. The CIA tried to reconcile with him, and they showed him the Turkey X500 model, which was a big bird model that was designed to kill smaller birds to help in the operation.
Okay.
And he denied that. He said, no, I don't care how cool this robot bird is. Shut it down.
Oh, I love it.
And a month later, he was dead.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
This goes deep, bro. He just tied in a whole other conspiracy into a made-up conspiracy.
Yeah.
There's
a lot in here. There's a lot of
Yeah.
other conspiracies, like
That's really
the Area
insane.
51 thing.
Oh, yeah, that's so true.
Kennedy dying.
This conspiracy theory to explain other conspiracy theories.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It really ties everything nicely together. This is like what's that word? The mea culpa?
Cornucopia?
This is the cornucopia of the conspiracy theory.
It is the cornucopia. You're right.
Mea la culpa.
The only thing that he didn't tie in was like flat Earth, in my opinion.
Yeah,
but like there's a lot in here. He tied in Vietnam. Actually, Vietnam makes a comeback in a second.
That's true. Oh, let's go.
Okay, but first we have to cover just a little bit more info on this whole Kennedy was murdered because he found out about the bird, about Operation Water the Country.
Right.
And he decided to shut it down.
Because obviously he wasn't successful if the birds are still robots. Right?
Yeah, they didn't shut it down. They just killed him.
They were just like,
gotta
let's
kill
stall
him
him for a month and then we'll figure it out.
And every president since Kennedy has turned a blind eye to the Water the Country campaign, which of course logically means that the CIA is rigging the elections. Like that's the only logical conclusion to that.
You lost me a little bit there because I would have thought that they would turn a blind eye because they knew what happened to Kennedy and they didn't want it to happen to them too.
No, because the CIA can't admit to killing President Kennedy.
Right. Oh, okay.
They're just
and they wouldn't know that any other. Okay.
Yeah, they're just like implying they could have read the website, I guess. Other than that, I don't know how this man knows about it. But yeah, they're just saying that the CIA plants people as president that will ignore it or rigs the election so people who don't care about birds and who hate birds will win the election.
But then wouldn't they want to get rid of all birds if they hated birds? And then wouldn't they want someone who hates birds enough to go into office and to get more than 15% of birds as gone and exterminated from the earth? I feel like the logic is a little flawed on this one. Like,
really?
I think you should try to get someone. I think you should try to get someone who has as much hate in their hearts for birds as Eisenhower did, so that you can continue with your master plan and get rid of birds forever. But instead, they're just like, fuck it. We'll just choose people who don't care about birds. Also, how do you know that they don't care about birds? Wouldn't you have to, like, get to know them a little bit, tell them about the bird plan, so that you find out that they don't care about the bird plan? Does everybody know about it? I don't
know how this situation works. I don't know if they like reach out to someone and they're like, hey, if we get you elected, will you cover this up for us? Like, I don't know if it's at that situation or like once they get in office. I don't know how it works. Or if they're like, you should run, because I don't know. Okay. All I know is that the CIA is rigging the elections.
Let's go.
So that they can keep killing birds. Eventually. I don't know how to transition in this story. I'm sorry. It's so all over the map. There's no way. There's no good transition. So eventually they started running out of bauxite ore, which is used in the aluminum that is used to construct the robot birds. And they were scared that the Americans would start finding out about the operation because they were killing birds faster than they could make them because they were running out of this aluminum. And they were like, oh my God, what are we going to do? The Americans are going to notice if there's no birds in the sky.
Sure, Americans will definitely notice that the birds are going missing.
Now, who has the world's third largest reserve of bauxite ore?
Who?
Vietnam.
Fuck, I knew it!
And this is why the U.S. invaded Vietnam. It was for the bauxite ore to build the robot birds.
Oh my God. That is so cruel. Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So their hate for birds is bigger than their respect for human life.
I don't love that. I'm not gonna lie. That does kind of rub me in the wrong direction.
Oh,
if
yeah,
we could use that
why?
metaphor, you know? I kind of just hate that a lot. It's kind of disrespectful, but okay. I guess we're living in makeup world, so it's fine.
Yeah. It's not real. Remember, it's not real, everyone. But I think that is kind of a little bit of an homage to the fact that the United States does invade places for their natural resources. Mm-hmm. In the name of democracy. Bullshit. Anyways.
Yeah, there is some truth to that statement.
Now you might...
Maybe there's a little bit of truth buried in the lies always, you know? That's why they're so easy to believe. That's why people fall into conspiracy theories, because it's like that one fact is true.
Yeah.
And then why can't this other non-fact be true? Okay. I'm with you.
Now you might be wondering, how did the government get thousands of people to make robot birds without anyone catching on? Right? Like, somebody had to make these birds.
True.
So the answer is that they were tripping balls. So the government employees, okay, would locate individuals in nightclubs and bars and tell them that they were having a costume party, like an acid costume party, like a costume party for people on drugs.
Oh, okay.
And this was like in the 60s and 70s, so like everyone was into acid at this time.
Right.
So they would give the individual a pair of overalls and a small piece of paper that did not have acid on it, but they would tell them it had acid on it.
Oh, okay.
And the trip was actually them riding the bus to the entrance, where they were given a toolbox and a pair of headphones that played Pink Floyd nonstop. And then these people just believed that they had the wildest trip of their life the whole night, that was just the acid.
That's so funny. That's like using the placebo effect to its full extent. That's insane.
They're like, that never happened. You were on acid. You weren't building robot birds.
I've never been on acid, but like, I would imagine that when you're on acid, there's a lot of other shit that's going on. It's not just like you're doing a weird task. You're obviously hallucinating. Like, I'm pretty sure you're having like an ego death, an out-of-body experience. I'm pretty sure like you hate looking at your hands.
Yeah, you're probably not feeling normal.
No.
Not completely normal going to work.
You
going to a factory
work a
job.
9 to 5. Fucking up on acid. You can't just make birds. Contribute to capitalism while you're on acid. Like, what? That's insane. I love it.
Yeah.
We should do acid. And
on the podcast?
Okay. Yeah.
What were you gonna say?
I was gonna say, like, we should go to the nightclubs.
Oh.
No, we should go to the nightclubs and then try to get recruited for the bird making.
Okay.
But
love this idea. I do love this idea.
Great.
Okay, but first of all, we have to build a time machine back to the 70s because this doesn't happen anymore.
All right.
I don't think. Actually, they didn't really say, but they did say it was in the 60s and 70s, but I don't really know how they make the birds now. Maybe it's automated.
I bet they still make them. Oh, true.
Robots,
they probably did automate it.
Elon Musk is probably in on it.
Yeah, I bet he is. Maybe we can just like kind of get in on the automation part of it. We can work as like the production manager or like the production designer of the birds. Leave us a comment if you want us to do acid on the podcast.
Yeah. And now, you're probably wondering...
I don't know if I am, but okay, let's go.
How do we know about this? If it's such a secretive operation, how do we know all this information about it?
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
So we're starting to wind down in the story now. And now the first whistleblower, so he was part of the CIA. He was an Operation Kill the Birds member, approached an anti-war activist who had nothing to do because the Vietnam War was over. He couldn't protest that anymore, so he had nothing to do.
Okay.
And told him the story. He told him what was going on with the birds, told him everything. Mm-hmm. And it enraged this activist. And this activist started rallying and touring university campuses and calling his local government officials, just trying to raise awareness.
Is this real?
No.
'Cause that would be
And
hilarious.
at their first rally, I don't know if it's true. I'm saying no just because that is the gut feeling that I have about this entire thing.
Gotcha.
The first rally that they had, okay, this is how I know it's not true. Just wait for this.
Okay.
The first rally that they had, there was more than 2,000 people in attendance, and they were rallying, trying to get the government to stop killing the birds. Okay. Now, the CIA found out about this rally, and they ordered the Secret Service to confiscate any film or pictures of the night. So there is no evidence of it happening. You just got to take his word for that one.
For sure.
Mm-hmm. And these rallies were held every year between 1974 and 1993, which apparently is the website has conflicting information. The website says that they were held every year until 1993, which is when the movement finally ended. Mm-hmm. But there is currently a truth tour that is going around.
No way.
And you can buy tickets to it and swag on their website.
No way.
Way.
Let's go.
And like their first one already happened. I think it was in like Minneapolis, and a bunch of people showed up. And like the issue is that some people think it's a real conspiracy theory. They don't get that it's like a joke. I don't think they've read the website. You know, the story's very long.
Levels to this. There's the people who think it's real. Oh man, I must be so proud. That's so incredible.
Yeah,
it's like I was trolling you the whole time. Lol. The biggest internet troll award goes to this guy. You did it. You made a convention for your troll. That's unheard of.
There was some Q&A.
On the website?
Yeah. And one of them was, how do you keep the robot birds inside of the states?
That's a good question.
And the answer to that is that while most of the birds are programmed not to cross over into other countries, there are still some that venture into these countries for a few reasons, such as picking up drugs, for eventual delivery into lower class segments of our major cities.
Oh.
He says that the government will do anything they can to maintain control over its citizens, even getting them hooked on drugs. Another reason is simple.
What?
And
I
that
thought
is
they were doing fake drugs. Lame.
Only for their employees.
God.
Another reason is keeping tabs on American citizens who go on vacation. Any bird that you see flying across the U.S. borders to either Mexico or Canada is simply tracking an American citizen who has traveled outside the United States. However, there is currently nothing keeping a bird from Canada or Mexico from traveling inside of America, which is why there will never be a 100% robot population, but it will most likely hover around 95%. So I know we initially said 15%, but over these past like 40, 50 years,
for sure,
they've kind of done a lot.
Wow, that's pretty impressive. That's a lot of freaking robots.
And he also says that the wall that Trump was planning to build actually contained microwaves that would kill any bird upon entry into the state. So it was actually a plan to stop the Canadian birds and the Mexican birds from entering into the country.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Great. I'm glad my questions were answered.
I don't know how to put words to the opinion that I have about this, but I just feel like, why do you have to take it so far? Not to the person that wrote this. I think the person that wrote this is hilarious and just really did humanity a favor by creating this whole thing. But the fact that there's people out there that believe it. It's 100% very clearly written as a joke. But there are people that show up at the rallies thinking that it's true, and you know it's because they haven't actually gone on the website and read this story. If anyone reads the story,
research.
Yeah. So guys,
that's pretty crazy.
Don't believe what you hear on the internet. Do your own research. If someone posts that the birds aren't real, look it up.
Double check that the birds are real.
Do yourself a favor before you buy the swag. Like,
if someone says, "Oh, this is what I was telling you about earlier about the baby pigeons," if someone says, "I've never seen a baby pigeon before. Have you ever seen a baby pigeon before?" and you think to yourself, holy shit, I've never seen a baby pigeon. That must mean that all pigeons are adults and all pigeons are robots.
That's
you
like
can look
jumping
up a picture of a baby pigeon.
So many steps, guys.
You can Google it. You can wait till springtime. There's so many things you can do.
Or maybe that's just simulation theory.
True. Because I feel like at this point, though, you can easily blame it on like the 5% of birds that are still birds and aren't robots. And you can be like, well, I only saw one family of baby pigeons and they're the only baby pigeons left. And the rest of them are robots. But like, hella pigeons are like, it's just,
honestly, I wouldn't know.
On, man.
I wouldn't know if I saw a baby pigeon. That's the other thing. Like, they hatch from their shell and like,
they live in the nest for most of the time.
Yeah, and then they grow
You're
up.
not gonna see them.
And then they're like slightly smaller than normal pigeons, I would assume, for a little while, and then they're regular size. I don't know that much about. I don't know enough about pigeons to be like, that's a baby pigeon.
Yeah, seriously. I just can't believe it all kind of stemmed from this idea of like hating bird poop.
I know.
That's just too much.
I was like,
why do you have so much hate for bird poop? Just park your car somewhere else. You know what you should do instead? Maybe like put like trees or something.
Underground parking.
Yeah.
A roof over your parking lot.
How could you hate bird shit that badly?
Yeah, there were more options.
There's no way you exhausted all of your options. And then you're like, well, now I know what I must do.
Anyways, that was that, guys. I hope you enjoyed the little story. Wasn't too much of an opinion to it, but it was fun. It was a fun journey.
I liked it. Yeah, I had a good time. And coming up next, I have an opinion for you with not a lot of information, just feelings.
I'm so excited.
Me too. What's up, you guys? Welcome to the second half of the podcast. So if you're watching the video right now, I just wanted you to know that I have kind of a prop, if you will, and it is my 1,101st parking ticket that I have fucking received from the city of Toronto. And I am so over it. And I kind of decided that I was like, I am over this bullshit. Like, why can't I park on the street overnight? It's not illegal. I got here first. Why can't people like I got the parking spot and I'm here and I'm parked legally. You know, it's not like I'm parked next to a fire hydrant. I'm not blocking somebody's driveway. I'm not doing any of that stuff. And the street that I was parking on specifically had a bunch of garages behind the houses where people can park their cars. And there was parking lots in the back of the garages and shit like that with free parking spaces too. So I don't understand why I had to pay a parking ticket to park on the freaking road. Oh, God. And like, okay, here's kind of the thing that really kind of grinds my gears. Because at this point, it feels like a parking ticket, it's almost just like the equivalent amount of money as paying
for parking
overnight, right? Mm-hmm. So it's like, what is the point of even kind of being able to pay for parking? What is the point of paying for parking if you could just not, and if you could just park on the street and then risking the parking ticket? So I think when I look a little deeply into it, what I am mostly upset about is the fact that I could have gotten it for free, but I didn't get away with it. You know what I mean? I think it's kind of a psychological trip because I was like, I might be able to get it for free. And then the next morning you see and you're like, oh, I have really bad luck because someone came by, someone like took a look at my car and someone was having a bad day maybe, or someone was actually doing their jobs and like had to take a look. And when they decided to give me a big ass freaking ticket, like, it's just really annoying. And it's just, I think it's about kind of the losing more than it is about the actual parking ticket, because I was going to pay the same amount of money anyways to sit somewhere and park somewhere, but I thought I could get away with it. You know, I wanted it so badly to be free. Like, we all know how good free things are. But it wasn't. And I'm kind of pissed that it went to the city too, because I feel like the money could have gone to like a private kind of company, maybe the grocery store that I park under, or the Green Pea or something like that. But instead it went all to the city. And like at first I wasn't 100% sure where this money was going to. And then I found out that it's kind of going to like city maintenance and like public transit and like taking care of all these little things and just like balancing out the budget, if you will. And,
wait, so you'd rather it go to a private corporation than to bettering your city?
That's the thing. I wasn't 100% sure because at first I thought it was going to like the cops, and I was like, I was so mad.
Fuck
that, like,
the cops.
Going, I was like, dude, they don't deserve my freaking money. They have too much money. Like, they don't deserve my money. But then I found out that it was kind of going to the city, and I was like, okay, you know what? If it goes to the city, this would be nice. If public transit was good, but it's not. And I have no other option but to take my car into the goddamn city and to have to drive around your bullshit tiny little streets. Oh, God. And if only public transit was good, then I would understand a little bit. But it's not. And it still sucks. Which is annoying because it's like, dude, they literally get so much money for parking tickets. Okay, I looked up how much money that they get from parking tickets. In 2019, they made $60 million from parking tickets alone.
Wow.
No freaking wonder they don't want to get rid of parking tickets. You know what I mean? Because I was like, abolish parking tickets, fuck parking tickets, you know, get rid of them, make them cease to exist, blah, blah, blah. The city would never like that. It balances the budget. It puts in a bunch of money into like things that actually matter. Maybe
how does it balance the budget? I'm pretty sure like
I don't know. I guess they're not getting enough money from
the budget's
other places.
been unbalanced my entire life. I don't think it's ever been balanced.
You will never be able to balance the budget. Like, just give up while you're ahead.
Yeah.
I don't understand. Oh God, it's just so much money, and it's just so much from it. And then the parking ticket officers, like, you have to pay them, and then that kind of gets taken out of the parking ticket money. So like, what if you stopped paying the parking ticket officers, but then there would be no parking ticket money? And it's just like this kind of endless kind of cycle. And okay, here I wanted to throw in a fun fact.
Okay.
This couple got fined $615 for feeding squirrels in their backyard.
Oh, I just saw that.
Isn't that so weird?
Yeah, that's so weird. How did they even find them?
Whose business is that? I don't know.
Yeah.
I just saw it and I was like, oh, that's interesting.
Did their like neighbors turn them in?
I guess so. They were like, yeah.
Imagine that call to the cop. That cop was probably like,
great.
I need to change my career.
Yeah, probably. Like, the chipmunks are really the last thing. That's probably all their minds of crime and stuff like that. But people got vendettas, dude. People are trying to get their neighbors in trouble, apparently. So, because of this parking ticket, right? Mm-hmm. I took it to my personal Instagram story, which you guys will get a chance to vote on this as well, because I will also post it on the podcast Instagram story. Let me know what you think, okay? So my question was, should parking tickets cease to exist? And I didn't know that this was going to be so controversial. I'm not going to lie. And this is what kind of fired me up a little bit to get this opinion going. So I noticed that, okay, to be fair, I was a little hostile on my social media. At first, I was like, God, fuck this shit. I'm so bad that the parking tickets are happening. And then the next post was, should parking tickets cease to exist? And I noticed that a lot of people who voted, yes, parking tickets should not exist, were also the people in my DMs being like, oh yeah, they're so stupid, like none of the money should like go to the city, like parking tickets are so dumb, blah blah blah. And whoever voted no had obviously never gotten a parking ticket in their life.
Did I vote?
37%. Oh, I don't know, I didn't check.
I can't remember if I voted. I remember seeing it.
Do you think? Tell us your vote live on the podcast right now.
That's why I asked you, because I don't like getting parking tickets.
Right. Me neither.
I don't like getting them. But I don't think they matter that much, because they don't do anything to my record in any way.
Yeah.
And
that's the thing.
I guess I'm okay with my money going to the city. But sometimes, like, when I get them, it makes me mad.
Right. I'm riding.
But, like, I don't know if they should be abolished.
Right. So that's kind of what I was thinking too, because it's like there are certain situations where a parking ticket is probably warranted. I think that, in my opinion, you should get parking tickets if someone calls the cops on your car, someone calls a non-emergency line and is like, hey, we are having this issue where this person
waits the 50 hours. Yeah.
This 50-hour wait, bro. Or if you're parked in front of a fire hydrant, obviously it's a safety issue. So, you know, if you were parking in front of a fire hydrant, ticket that shit, never do it again. You learn your lesson, you pay a hard fine. And maybe if your car has been parked somewhere for like too long, that is kind of unreasonable, or some other reasonable reason.
A unique issue that a lot of Canada has is that parking on the street overnight in the winter affects the ability of the city to clear snow.
Yeah.
Just presenting that argument. Because like when I lived in Guelph, we could park on the street, didn't matter how long. Well, it technically mattered, but like no one checked. Didn't matter how long. Could park overnight. I think technically it was 48 hours, but whatever. You could do that in the summer, but in the winter, you couldn't park on the street overnight. You could park on the street during the day, but not overnight. And that was just because of snow removal.
Yeah, I think that's a completely fair reason to get a ticket as well. Because people need to move their cars, they need to get out of the city, and they need to be able to do their shit. And if you're completely impeding the job of like this one other person, then fine, get a ticket, move your car, like don't ever do it again. I'm pretty sure there's also signs and stuff in place that tell you, you know, don't park at these certain times because of these certain reasons, like blah, 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 blah. But when it's a literal pointless reason, like no parking from 2 a.m. until 6 a.m.
For no reason.
Why from 2 a.m. until 6 a.m.? It's the middle of summer. Nothing's going on. Like, just let me freaking park my car here. I don't understand why I had to freaking suffer. Like,
the part that makes me really mad about, like, that is that a lot of people will park their car on the street to avoid driving drunk. And, like, I don't think we should be punishing people for making the decision to stay somewhere for the night. Like, you'd rather do that.
Driving my car is it's because I'm drinking. It's because I'm like doing stuff, and then it's like, oh well, now I want to avoid a $30 fine, so I'm gonna get out of here. And you know what? Sometimes it's more than that. Sometimes parking on the street is anywhere 60, 90. Like you can get a hefty bill for parking on the street. I got lucky with my little 30. You know what I mean? But like if I got a $60 or a $90 parking ticket because I didn't want to drunk drive. Next time I'll just drive drunk. Thank you very much, city. Like this isn't worth it. That's my entire bill at the bar.
Toronto. We'll be sending you this sound clip.
I could have used that to get another night of drunkenness in, but instead I had to pay for your stupid parking ticket. I just don't understand. Oh my god. Okay, so let me bring you up another couple of situations where people get angry. This isn't in Toronto, but this is in New York City. They have this like insane parking ticket system where you'll pay for a parking meter. And if you are late by even 1 minute, you pay a full price parking ticket. They don't give a fuck. They are patrolling the streets. And you get the same ticket if you're late by like 2 hours or something like that. So you could show up to your car after 5 minutes and you could still have the same, I don't know, $35 ticket that a person who left their car there for 3 hours has, which people are like, this is super unfair, blah, blah, blah. Totally agree. So in 2009, the Mayor Bloomberg, something like that, the mayor of New York vetoed a bill that would create a 5-minute grace period because sometimes people are like 5 minutes late to getting their car. Sometimes it's hard to predict how long your shit is going to go on for, and then you don't have time to run back to the parking meter. Like, that's so dumb. Like, just because you can't know how long you're going to be in a certain place doesn't mean you deserve to get fined for it. We're only human. Some of us aren't that good at math. Some of us aren't that good at making predictions. Some of us end up having a little bit more mimosas. I don't know. Like maybe the meeting went long. Maybe something happened. Maybe you got into trouble or something like that. And then to go back to your car and to have a parking ticket on it is just like the nail in the freaking coffin. It's like, damn, this was an absolutely horrible day. Now I have to pay for this shit because I was 5 minutes late.
And you know what?
Late,
also, at that point, once you have the ticket, like leave your car. Enjoy your afternoon. Don't pay for any more parking. You already have a ticket. Like, just have a good time.
Like, you go to your car, you're like, oh, I got a parking ticket. I'm actually free for another 8 hours.
Yeah, I can do whatever the fuck I want. Like, what are they gonna do?
Oh, that's such a good idea. But I can't believe the mayor was like, no, we don't need the 5-minute grace period. His reason was that it would lead to chaos and an enormous increase in parking ticket disputes. which you can easily make rules around. You know what I mean? Because then people will be like, well, I was 6 minutes late and I only blah, 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 blah. And then there's a 5-minute grace period.
But people are probably already doing that now, being like, I was only 1 minute late. Like, that doesn't really create a new problem. Issue. It's the same issue, yeah.
I know, right? Like, just do it on the down low. Just tell people that they need to be there at whatever, 3 o'clock. And then if they're 6 minutes late, like, you have to pay the penalty. I don't know. Or just get rid of it altogether.
What's really convenient is like the apps that you can pay for parking now on, because like it'll give you a notification you have X amount of minutes left and you can just add more minutes if you need them.
Right? Yeah, I like those too. It's still annoying to have to pay for parking for sure.
Yeah.
But
I like those 100% with you. Yeah.
Right. In Ireland, a parking ticket is considered a criminal offense, and it gets increased by 50% if you don't pay it on time. And then it's prison. You have to serve time.
Oh my god, we would all be in prison.
I fucking know. In Finland, you might actually like this one, because in like this kind of those kind of Swiss areas, you know, in Finland, in the Scandinavian places of the world, we love you, Scandinavia. Tickets can reach up to 6 figures because they give you a ticket based on a percentage of your last known income.
Oh.
So they have given out the most expensive parking ticket to this guy's Maserati, because he was like, you know, speeding, doing some illegal shit, and then they ended up giving him like a really hefty fine in the millions.
You know what? That's a fucking good idea. I do like that.
Isn't it?
Because tickets are nothing to people who make a lot of income. Like, they don't care. They will pay the fine. They don't give a shit. It does, like, it's pocket change. You're not gonna enforce any laws.
Like, you might as well risk getting the ticket. Like, it makes a lot more sense. Like, for me, a ticket versus paying for parking is about $3. If I were to pay for parking, I would be paying $27 or something like that. And then the ticket is an extra $3 on top. It's not gonna break the bank. But if you're rich as fuck, it would be a lot easier to just be like, fuck it, we're lazy. Also, I hate that we're being punished for our laziness, because that's really what it is at the end of the day. I don't want to go to the parking garage. I don't want to walk an extra kilometer, and I don't want to like do all this shit. Like, I already have the vehicle. Why can't it take me all the way to where I need it to take me? It's annoying. I don't want to be punished for my laziness, okay? The money isn't enough incentive, because I still do it. So I don't know.
And I think that's also because it has no real effect on anything. Like, it's a fine, you pay the fine, and then that's it. I used to be so scared of parking tickets when I first started driving.
Really?
Yeah. I was like,
is
that a demerit point? You know, my insurance is going to find out, but like, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, the insurance
Get parking tickets.
Shit.
Fuck it up. Leave it up.
So they're literally just useless.
Yeah.
There's just no point for the parking tickets. Oh gosh. Okay, so this is kind of another thing that really pissed me off here, is like maybe the more overarching theme of I meant to say theme of this argument is that everything just like is money. We literally cannot function in a society without money. I'm sick of it.
Capitalism. All comes back to capitalism.
It always comes back to capitalism. First of all, we're paying for the car. You're paying for insurance, repairs, whatever else. Second of all, you're paying for the gas to get from A to B. And then to slap on another fine on top of that for taking up space that you have already paid for. The car I'm in is being paid for. The money is there. And then to put money on top of it, it's just so much. It's just too much, you guys. And like, what is the goal? Is the goal to get people to stop driving their cars into the city? Like, is that kind of what they want? Because I kind of hope that happens. If people stop driving their cars into the city, then the city will be making income off the cars. And I would love to see what their next move would be. Like where would you go from there? Where else can you kind of like get money from? And like, what else? What's your next plan? You know what I mean? And also, if we stop driving cars into the city, then they stop making money off the cars. And that can't be the goal, because the city wants money, right?
I think the city wants you to park in their parking lots.
They don't have parking lots, though. They just have, there's private parking lots. I don't think the city has parking lots.
Okay, then I think the city wants you to pay for their parking.
stupid.
Just an idea.
I don't want to do it. I feel like I should be able to park for free. This is so annoying. Oh my God. Yeah, it's just like so stupid because I feel like they should make it feasible to like it took me so long to find this parking lot that was $27 for a night. And before that, there was people who were running parking lots who I would be like, how much is it for overnight parking? And they would tell me it was $75 for overnight parking for one night. And I was like,
no, thank you.
I literally have to turn around. Like at that point, I will take the parking ticket.
Yeah.
So I feel like maybe the government is planting parking lots that are way too expensive so that they can get your parking ticket money, because they know you're going to need to park on the street because you know you don't have anywhere else to park, and you need to park your car because you don't want to get a drunk driving ticket, because that's worse than getting a parking ticket, obviously. So this is a little bit of a conspiracy, if you will, that they have these people, these pawns set out so that you are forced to park on the street, so that you have to pay their parking tickets wherever you may be, because it's just literally not worth it to pay $75 for 12 hours of parking. They need to make that money somehow. So maybe
could it have happened the other way? That
what do you mean?
The people with the parking lots know that people hate parking tickets, so they make their prices really high.
Yeah, maybe, but like,
it's all about supply and demand, dude.
That's such a psychological.
There's not enough parking lots for all of the people that need parking lots.
Yeah, that's true. I guess
so
there is enough parking lots, but they charge so much money. Yeah, I know. But it's like the parking ticket is so much cheaper at that point than this like freaking parking spot that's $75 maybe.
Yeah,
I mean, I guess that's true. And maybe some people like yourself back in the day didn't know that it doesn't actually affect your insurance or anything like that, and they would like be like, oh shit, okay, I need to pay $75 for parking. It's such a scam, such bullshit.
I think there's also a fear of getting your car towed. It's a big fear of mine, because that's like, they don't tell you where they take it. You just walk outside and your car's gone, and then like you gotta Where's Waldo it and try to find it somewhere in the city. So like I have a big fear of that happening, because that sounds like a lot of work, and then it's like $300 to get your car.
Ugh, I know, that's kind of worst case scenario. I don't think they tow your car though unless you're parked super illegally. Like even I parked next to a fire hydrant one time and I got a ticket. I didn't see it, guys. I'm sorry. I deserved that one. I'm not complaining about the fire hydrant ticket. I'm complaining about this bullshit, this $30 bullshit. But like they didn't tow my car.
Yeah, that's true.
I think they only tow it if it's been there for a really long period of time. I don't think it's one of those things that they just like do randomly, because it also costs money for them to get the tow truck there. That's true. I'm pretty sure. So they wouldn't just do it like haphazardly, whatever, you know. Is the goal of parking tickets an environmental goal? Maybe cities want people to stop driving cars so that the environment heals. The earth is healing. If that is the goal, then it is not fucking working. The streets are busier than ever. Rush hour never fucking ends. And the parking tickets are getting more and more expensive.
I also think the city would advertise it if it was for the environment.
Ooh, yeah, that's
They
true.
love slapping those like names on there. Just
they
be
do.
like,
greenwashing.
Yeah, you should pay for this because it's for the environment.
Yeah, let me just throw a little green label on it. Oh my god, green pea. Holy shit. Oh my god. They're like trying to make you think that you're better than you are. Okay, so this kind of led to an interesting question. Let's say the parking tickets and paid parking was to increase exponentially to force you to not pay for it. If a parking ticket were to be $2,000, like just for whoever, or if it were to be like the Finland situation where it's a part of what
it's a certain percentage
of money that you're making, right? Would people actually stop driving? Or would they riot and demand cheaper parking?
Or would they just start paying for parking?
Well, the parking would also be a lot more expensive. Because the parking is already hella expensive. Because if the parking ticket can kind of dictate the parking price, you know what I mean? Like if the parking ticket is $2,000, that means that parking places could easily charge $1,000 because it's still under the amount of charge that you're going to get for the parking ticket. So both of them would go up. Would people stop driving?
No, I don't think so.
Or would they riot?
That's what I thought too. I don't think people would start.
People love their cars, and this is kind of the even more bullshittier thing is that like society has created this world where living without a car is impossible. It's literally impossible. And like you go to work in the car that you are paying for through your work, and you need the money that you make from your work for your car, which you're taking to work, and then they punish us for having to put our vehicles somewhere, even though we are forced to own them. Any environmental concerns that they may have just seem so shallow. I mean, like car sales are going up, parking tickets. Yeah, I mean, like stricter enforcing of it and shit like that. Like the example from New York, like this shit is crazy. And yeah, it's literally just a concern for capitalism and for their wallets, not for the environment or for the city whatsoever. So anyways, we were fucked up by the invention of cars. And I watched this like short little documentary. Well, it wasn't short. I just watched it at 1.5 speed.
This rant has gone in so many directions I never expected it to.
I can't. I've been so heated over this. Like, I can't believe it. So this documentary is called Taken for a Ride. And it's about General Motors and about how deeply General Motors absolutely fucked us in the ass. Like, it literally messed up our entire lives, okay? So this company in the early 90s, they did this little fun little project in the States where they decided that it would be a great idea to buy bus companies. So they bought like this one bus company, and then they bought a bus manufacturer company. Now, the big mode of transportation at this time was streetcars. And these streetcars were just taking over the world. There was rails like running down the roads. There was literally like 5 cars on the street because no one could afford them. And the streetcars took priority over any other vehicle. And there was a streetcar running every 2 minutes without fail.
Amazing.
5 minutes kind of thing, right? And it's like you try to take a streetcar now and you're waiting anywhere from 30 seconds to 25 minutes. Like, it's so inconvenient. It's so horrible. But at this time, these streetcars were literally just the prime mode of transportation. They were comfortable, they were spacious, and they were allowed to be huge because there was no cars on the roads. There was literally no restrictions, and people were just allowed to like sit, take up space, go to where they needed to be. They were everywhere, and they were like, they were just so convenient, and they were just the best. And freaking General Motors comes in, and they're like, we see an opportunity to sell people cars. But everybody loves these streetcars so much that they don't have an opportunity to sell these cars. So what they did is they started taking these buses and putting them on the roads and making them seem like the better option or whatever. But really, what they were fucking doing is they would put the trolley or the streetcar companies out of business. And they were reducing the amount of streetcars, and they were reducing the amount of people who were working there because there were less streetcars. And then they would increase fares and make it seem like it was the wrong thing to do. So then people started taking the bus. And then what General Motors did is they reduced the buses. They made it impossible for people to get anywhere. Now that they've gone into literally every single state, and they would just fucking completely destroy their trolley. I keep calling it a trolley. That's what they called it in the documentary, but it's a streetcar. So they would completely destroy the streetcar industry. They would completely just like drive it off the rails, if you will, because it's a streetcar wall. And then they would put their buses in, and they would be like, the buses are so much better. And then they were like, fuck your buses. They started pulling the buses, and they made them really hot, really uncomfortable to ride in, and like the buses would stop and start, and it was super like, just, we've all been on a bus. It's not the best experience. You know what I mean? No. And so they made it seem like the only way to live was to get a car. And they just fucking, oh god, it's so annoying. They literally took over the entire industry. Like, can you imagine how amazing life would be if public transit was just the only
good
thing? Yeah,
was good. We wouldn't need, like, we don't need autonomous cars. Like,
no, We don't.
Just get me public transit. I can relax on public transit.
Right.
It doesn't have to be my own personal car.
No.
That already exists. A car that you don't have to drive. It's called the bus.
Yeah. Yeah, I hate it.
Just make it work,
so
guys.
much.
Make it work.
And oh my god, it's just so sad. And then once they ruined the reputation of public transportation as a whole, because I mean, first they took down the streetcars, then they took down their own buses. They sabotaged their own company for the better of General Motors. And they fucking created a highway, and they plopped a highway in front of everything, and then just like made it the only convenient way to get from A to B. And then later on in whenever this freaking shit started, I think it was like the 70s or the 80s or the 90s, that's when suburbanization began.
Love that.
And that is when it became literally impossible to get anywhere without a car. Anywhere without a car. Like, if you didn't have a car, you pretty much hated your life because you couldn't get to the grocery store, you couldn't get to anywhere without a vehicle. And now we rely on cars. And people who don't have cars pay to use somebody else's car. Transit is bad. Transit is slow. It gets caught up in car traffic, which is such bullshit. Transit should have its own freaking lane like it used to in the 20s. In the 1920s.
Like, if you want to do something for the environment, cities, it's making public transit just better. Just make it an option for people to use that's actually convenient.
Literally.
And comfortable.
And now, even, okay. And even you may be like, biking is also an option and walking is an option. Biking is fucking dangerous.
So dangerous in cities.
Of the cars that we are forced to use. Walking is too slow, depending on whether you have to carry stuff or not. And also walking and biking are both weather dependent. So like you can't always rely on those two modes of transportation. I'm over it. I just hate the world right now, like a little bit. I'm not gonna lie. Oh my god. So I was like, okay, maybe I could try to think of a little bit of solutions. And I mean, it started off as a little logical, and then it ended in abolish cars. So
it's a fair point. It's a fair point. Mean, if you don't want parking tickets, get rid of the cars.
Get rid of the cars completely. I mean, we can't get rid of cars, so maybe make parking free. But then there would be nowhere to park. Parking would be free and you could park anywhere. Oh my gosh. So then I read this article that was talking about how you have to pay for parking, but it isn't on a meter. So you kind of use like the app situation like you were talking about earlier, where you can like say how much you're going to park there, or you just swipe your credit card when you get there, and then when you leave you swipe it again, and then you pay for the amount of time that you stayed there, which is like a completely logical way to pay for parking, in my opinion, right?
Yeah.
Oh my god. And like the tickets are just so annoying. Again, I feel like I'm being punished for my laziness. And then the psychological implications of feeling the hope that you feel that you'll get away with it just once. Once you feel like you're going to get away with it. And just once that $30 is yours. And then to get let down and to get shot down by that yellow ticket sitting on your dashboard is just mentally a challenging game to have to consistently play with your life. It's just
my god. My god. I'm so sorry. You got a lot of trauma from parking tickets, girl.
Yeah, they're just annoying. It's just like parking tickets always hit me when I'm at my poorest. And
yeah, that's true. They do have that just a way of being like, hey girl.
And I'm like,
I know everything's shit right now, but here I am.
Right now. Right? And it's just so annoying. And I just like, that's where the trauma stems from. It's like I was just like living my best life, and then I started parking, and then the next thing you know is like I'm getting tickets and shit like that, and then I try to pay for parking and it's so expensive, and it's like I might as well take the risk, but then the risk isn't worth it. It's just so much. So
I think the risk
maybe another solution could be that actually I don't know how much I like the solution, but I read it online. It said that repeat offenders get higher tickets to persuade them to pay for parking. And
I don't think you would like that.
No, I mean I would hate that.
I don't think that's a good solution for
am
you.
I a menace to society? Like, I don't know. I'm paying for, like, I'm giving money to the city, so I'm not 100% sure. And then you know what else is about the parking lots? The property tax goes to the city anyways.
Yeah, a lot of things go to the city. Your taxes.
Right? So it's like
public transit fares.
I feel like there's a loop around there somewhere where it's like just make everything paid parking. just cheaper, because all the money is going to go to you anyways through property taxes and through other forms of like taxation and stuff like that. Like, what, maybe they're not getting as much money because the parking tickets are like, you know, a pretty hefty sum, and it's like you can get multiple in a night. Like, I'm not 100% sure how the business works around parking tickets, but like, fuck. Oh, it just seems, yeah, I just hate it. And it also kind of seems like a ploy, because as I was saying, parking tickets sometimes cost less than parking in a parking lot.
Yeah, that's the stupid part.
Right? It seems so suspicious. It's
like not even worth it.
So you're just asking me to get a parking ticket. Like, you just want direct funds at this point. You just want me to e-transfer you, city? Like, I will. Oh, God. So, yeah, let's see what happens if we just stop driving. Like, that would be an interesting experiment. Just stop driving and just, like, see what happens, you know? But it's not possible.
Yeah, I was about to say, I don't know how, like, viable this movement is. I don't think I can stop.
Right? Me neither. I can't stop either. And I
eat.
don't want to stop. That's what I'm saying. You have to freaking do shit to get everywhere. In conclusion,
okay,
capitalism ruins yet another thing.
Yeah.
And
I'm there with that.
The freedom of having a car, if you will. But is it even a freedom to have a car? Or is it just something that has been instilled in you through marketing? Because you're totally tied down when you have a car. Mm-hmm. You have freedom to go anywhere, provided you have the money, and that you didn't spend it all on the car that you own. Like, there's just no winning. I hate the system.
Capitalism, let's burn it down.
It's just another way of being a part of the system, and living is impossible. Thank you for coming to my freaking TED Talk.
That was beautiful.
Thank you. I'm over it. I'm so happy that I could vent to you guys.
So powerful. Because so beautiful.
Thanks, Courtney. That brings us to the end of the podcast, everybody. Thank you so much for listening to this week's episode. I hope you enjoyed Courtney's conversation about the birds for the bourgeoisie. And I hope you enjoyed learning about that conspiracy theory, and let us know if you think the birds work for the bourgeoisie, or if you've ever been on any sort of acid trip where you have made birds and then were left on the side of a road or something like that. We would be interested to know about that. And thank you for listening to my rant about parking tickets and about parking and about how life is literally impossible underneath the capitalist regime. So tune in next week for a lot more fun. And make sure you follow us on Instagram at very.unimportant.people. Make sure you follow us on Twitter at @theunimportantppl, and you can also email us at hatersclickhere@gmail.com, and that's HATRS clickhere@gmail.com. And finally, you can find us on TikTok. So make sure you look for us, because we are there. If you can't find us, do a little bit more deep diving.
Yeah. Like,
don't you listen to this podcast? Don't you
get
know
better
what
at the
deep dives?
internet. Yeah. It's not that hard. Sorry, guys.
And have a great